What if everything you thought was random wasn't? What if the chaos of the world, economic crashes, political instability, sudden shifts in society, wasn't just the result of bad luck or bad leadership, but part of a deliberate, coordinated plan? A plan so far-reaching, it's reshaping the future of humanity, bit by bit, one event at a time, one crisis after another. What if everything happening around us is engineered for a reason? What if the so-called chaos is not chaotic at all, but part of a much larger strategy? They call it the Great Reset. It's a term that has been gaining traction in elite circles for years. But what does it really mean? What does it involve? And more importantly, who is behind it? A global transformation. The Great Reset isn't just a slogan. It's a bold vision for the future of our world. A vision where the old systems are replaced by new ones, where the economy, technology, and governance are entirely revamped to meet the challenges of a rapidly changing world. But when you dig deeper, you'll start to see that this vision isn't being built for everyone. It's being built by a select few who have immense power and influence over the global systems, but zero accountability to the public. The idea behind the reset is to create a world that is fairer, sustainable, and inclusive. On the surface, it sounds like something we could all get behind. But when you peel back the layers, you start to ask yourself, who's really doing the resetting? And why now? The quiet beginnings. It didn't start with flashy announcements or grand speeches. No, the seeds for the reset were planted quietly, whispered in elite circles, discussed behind closed doors in corporate boardrooms, and scribbled into reports that most people would never read. For years, the people behind the reset kept their plans hidden from the general public. And then one day, it was out in the open. It was announced on the world stage, presented as a solution to the world's most pressing problems, a chance to rebuild society from the ground up, to solve all of our social, environmental, and economic crises in one fell swoop. But rebuilding, for whom? A plan for the few behind closed doors. Unelected institutions started laying out the blueprint. These are the tech giants, the central banks, the non-governmental organizations, and the corporations that hold immense power over our lives but answer to no one. They make the rules, they set the agenda, and they hold the keys to the future of humanity. And make no mistake, they don't want to fix the existing system. They want to replace it entirely. The old ways of doing things, national sovereignty, local decision-making, personal freedom, these are seen as obstacles to their vision of a perfect world. To them, these things are too messy, too slow, and too unpredictable. In their ideal world, everything is centralized, streamlined, and managed. Every aspect of life would be controlled by a central authority, one that dictates the rules, sets the priorities, and defines what's acceptable. One currency, one system of governance, one ideology, the tools of control. And the scariest part, they don't need tanks or bombs to achieve their vision. They have influence, they have data, and they have debt. With the power of technology, they can track, manage, and manipulate the global population without ever firing a single shot. This is where the concept of stakeholder capitalism comes into play. A new economic model that brings governments, corporations, and civil society together in a supposedly harmonious partnership. On paper, it sounds like a win-win scenario, but in reality, it's a partnership that excludes the average person. You're not a stakeholder in this new world. You're the product. Your behavior, your choices, and even your very identity become assets to be tracked, scored, and managed by the central authority. But how did we get here? The rise of digital control. First, they will introduce digital currencies. They will be centralized, programmable, and controlled by a few powerful entities. You'll be told how to spend your money, where you can spend it, and when you can't. Then comes digital identity. One identity for everything, for travel, health, banking, and even social media. But there's a catch. Say the wrong thing, challenge the narrative, or step out of line, and you could lose access to all of it. And then comes the social contract, the new rule of law in this reset society. A society where you'll own nothing. But don't worry, they'll tell you that you're free. And if you object to not owning anything, well, you're selfish. If you resist their vision for the future, then you're dangerous. They say it's progress. They say it's for the planet. They say it's for peace. But when you look beneath the surface, you start to see the true agenda. A world where control isn't enforced through violence, but through dependency. You'll depend on their currency. You'll depend on their policies. You'll depend on their systems. And the scariest part? When every aspect of life is filtered through their approval, what happens to dissent? What happens when the algorithm decides you've had enough red meat this month? When your car doesn't start because your carbon quota is maxed out? When your access to funds is paused pending behavioral review? They won't need to lock the door. They'll convince you there was never a door at all. This isn't a conspiracy. This isn't some fringe theory. This isn't a conspiracy. This is a strategy, and it's being played out on a global scale. It's written in white papers, spoken aloud at summits, and discussed by the most powerful people on Earth. They believe the age of nations is over. Global problems, they say, require global solutions. And global solutions require global authority. But they're not hiding it. They're broadcasting it. While they write the future, the question is, where are you in the script? Are you a voice or are you a variable? Freedom at stake. This isn't just about politics or economics. It's about something much more profound. It's about what it means to be free, free to choose, free to speak, free to say no. Because once you reset a system, you don't always get to reboot it. Once you give up your freedom, you might not get it back. So the next time someone offers you a better world, ask to see the fine print. And ask yourself, is this better world really better for you, or is it just better for them? Conclusion, you be the judge. If you're awake, you already know what to do. Hit the link in our bio, stay safe and stay informed.